Morning guys, finally made my way to Porlock Weir in Somerset, and I've come down here to photograph the tree in the sea, as I'm calling it. Now to a lot of you, you'll be very familiar with this location. It's a series of salt marshes where the sea defence a few years ago broke, and the Bristol Channel basically throughout the year washes in over these salt marshes. Over the years it's petrified a few of the trees which were in the actual landscape. And it's a very popular location for a lot of photographers, but it's a location I've never been to but often wanted to get to. And yeah, today here I am, and conditions wise I'm really quite happy. There's a little bit of a very high level cloud, very little in the way of middle or low cloud, but a tiny bit of mist, an old barn, some petrified trees. Yeah, this landscape floods with the salt water from the sea only 2 or 3 times per year, and to get the conditions right and the timing right is really down to a lot of luck and a lot of chance. But this weekend I noticed that the tide height was around about 10.5 meters, coinciding around about 8 o'clock in the morning, and obviously sunrise is around about just after 6. So actually it's a perfect time of day to come down here and capture some nice morning light on the salt marshes. And hopefully, if the tide comes in, which I believe it will do, it's predicted to be, like I said, 10.5 meters. So 10.5 meter height, it should come all the way in and completely cover this salt marsh. So this is my first composition setup. The tide is now coming in, and as predicted, these little channels are now filling up with seawater, and they're starting to come around the bases of the trees. It's looking really nice actually. I'm surprised just how quick it's actually coming in. It is very fast. So I've got my first composition. I've got a lovely tree set up, a leading line through, some water now filling around it, and the water in the background as well is just filling in the background detail of where all the marsh was. So it's really quite a nice landscape shot. Settings wise, I'm around about 30th of a second f11, something along those lines, ISO 100. But yeah, I'll get the shot and get it on screen. You guys can tell me what you think.
I wanted to capture a series of images of the tide coming in, but I completely underestimated the speed of the tide and just how much of the landscape I was stood on would be underwater and how fast that would happen. Due to this, I had to shift my composition around a few times, so the end result isn't really what I wanted from a sequence of images, but I think it still shows you just how much the seawater pushes in and how rapidly the landscape changes in front of your eyes.